Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope a Dope Report. I'm your host, Chris Carlson, and I already know I'm going to catch a lot of heat when I make this video. I just made a video about Kelly Pavlik, so if I make comments with other YouTubers or other boxing shows, and I talk about a fighter, I've talked about Floyd. I make comments about Floyd. But if I made a video about Pavlik, I gotta make a video about Floyd. I'm saying if I'm gonna hack Floyd, I also got to give him some credit. And I'm not necessarily giving him credit. I know what he's not done at 147. Don't get me wrong, okay? I know you're gonna, but try to keep down the level of hate or the level of ignorance when you say, he isn't fought anybody. I know what he has not done at 147, okay? I know that. Now, my problem is people downgrading Marquez. I think it's ridiculous. So, Marquez, since before Eric Morales beat Pacquiao, there was already a draw, which I think that Marquez won that first fight. I think Pacquiao won the second fight. But he's really, since 05, his last loss, and really since 04 when they fought, since 99 you could say, besides Morales, the loss to Morales, which he made up for, Marquez is giving him his toughest fights. I mean, after the fight in March 08, Roach said he doesn't want his fighter to be in wars. Look it up. Do your research. It's on YouTube. I don't know the link, but I just know what I saw. And he said, I don't want my fighter in any more wars like that. Where'd he first go after that? David Diaz, okay? So, when people say Floyd is... First of all, Floyd's been out for a while. Let the guy come back to a fight, okay? You don't want to come back to Pacquiao in that speed or Mosley in that speed. You just don't. Years ago, you could come back and fight one or two fights and people wouldn't care. They don't care. And I understand. Floyd says some stupid shit. He says some ignorant shit. He says some egotistical shit. But some of the stuff he says is facts, and people just don't want to realize, or not necessarily realize it, but admit it because he can be an asshole, okay? But some of that is just a game, okay? When he was younger, he wasn't like that. You know what I mean? He wasn't like that. And even guys against like Diego Corrales and Gotti, and they started smack-talking him in, and he saw it, 97 Rough just made a video not too long ago where he said this, He saw it, okay? And he saw how to do this, so that's what he does. With even the Brian Kenny interviews. If you watch all of them that he's done like 5-6 different interviews over the years. Every time it's a different one. I mean, sometimes he's saying, Brian Kenny, I'm gonna talk to HBO, and I'm gonna let, I think you should take over for Larry Merchant. You know what I mean? So it's his Ali, what the hell? Why can't I think of his name? Cosell. Sorry. Howard Cosell. Just had a brain fart there. Man, that would have looked real dumb. I'm probably still going to get comments just for not thinking of it right now. But that's his Cosell. That's all it is, okay? But here's the thing. Marquez is a legitimate fighter, okay? I'm not a big catchweight, but in this particular instance, I don't mind the catchweight because he's coming from 135, and they're going to meet. Now, we don't know what weight it is, 144, 143. It's a welterweight fight. We don't know that. Let me see what I got for time. We don't know what it is, but to sit there and downgrade this, this fight is ridiculous, okay? It's not a walk in the park. It's not the 5th best fighter at the weight class. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not a crappy fight. It's not a guy it's not a Jennings. So Cotto can do a Jennings and Pacquiao can fight David Diaz, but Floyd can't fight Marquez. The guy, if you want to see, and most people do want to see Pacquiao against Floyd, then you can't downgrade so much and so much hate and ignorance towards Marquez and Mayweather. Now, I think, I want to say 97 Rough had the first video for the prediction. And what he said is it might be a boring matchup because 2 counterpunchers. That's cool. I understand it. That's not hate. That's fact. You see what I'm saying? That's not ignorance. That's fact. It could be a more boring fight than the Pacquiao-Floyd or anybody with Pacquiao or Cotto fighting. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. It could be a good fight, but not a great fight. You know what I mean? There could be some good rounds, and then some boring rounds, and a great round, and then a boring round. You know what I mean? It could be like that. But to say that it's not worthy, then just don't rent the pay-per-view, man. And actually, if you start looking at that card now, for the boxing fans, see, Floyd's and Golden Boy is getting the mainstream of Floyd and Marquez because, hey, Mexican and Mexican-Americans make up 33%. They say a third. So right around 35% of pay-per-view orders. So he's getting the mainstream people that would just rent it because of Floyd and because of Marquez. And then he's getting the boxing fans because of the undercard. And it's starting to shape up. And that's one thing you can't deny. Okay? It's starting to shape up. You got the Rocky Juarez, Chris John Part 2. Anyone that saw that first fight, it was a good scrap. Chris John won it. I thought it was a bullshit draw. But it was a good-ass scrap. And I want to see how Rocky, if Rocky throws more punches in the 5th round, or, in the first 5 rounds, and I know that's kind of how he fights. But I really think if he changes his style a little bit, he could win the fight. So that's a good fight. You hear rumors about Zab Judah, or, right now it's Zab Judah and Hatton. Zab Judah's fun to watch for 4 rounds. No matter what, it'll probably be a good scrap for an undercard fight. Plus, having Hatton on there, they're doing pay-per-view overseas in England on Sky Sports. So, that's what that's there for. But he's like one of the funnest 3-round, 4-round fighters, there is. I mean, Zab Judah would only have 1 loss if it came down to 3 rounds. So, anyway, don't come at me with Zab comments, okay? Anyway, because I know you'd be like, oh, undefeated, what, or 1 loss, what are you talking about? But you know what I mean. He's still fun to watch for 4 or 5 rounds. And then you hear about Winky maybe being on it. And another prospect being on it. So, it's going to be a good deep card. Just don't rent the pay-per-view and stop all this hate for it. That's all I'm saying. And I know I'm going to get hate for this. What do I got for time? I know I'm going to get hate for this, but honestly, think about it right now. Think about that. Pacquiao, Mayweather. If that fight can happen, and that's the fight that needs to happen. I understand. I want to see it too. I want to see it more than Marquez and Mayweather. But the fact is, don't downgrade it so much. Be like 97 Rough and a lot of people out there that made factual comments. That's fine. It might be a boring fight. Cool. Yup. You could be right. And more than likely, a good chunk of it, you're exactly right. There is going to be some times. They may feel each other out for 3-4 rounds. You never know. You know what I mean? So I just have a feeling Marquez is just going to go for it. It's on Mexican Independence Day. A lot of Mexicans are going to be in his corner. I just have a feeling that he's going to make it an exciting fight. You know what I mean? And if you make Floyd fight, and this is another thing about Floyd, he'll fight you how you fight him. So if you come at him, he's going to deliver punches. If you fight from the outside, he's going to outbox you. It's all about what you do. And I'm not saying he's an exciting fighter. I mean, I had a top 10 exciting list, and he's not on it. So I'm not saying he's the most exciting fighter. Nothing like that. I understand that he's got snoozers, he's got good fights, and he's got some great fights. Anyway, this has been the Rope and Dope Report. Leave your comments, leave your hate. Anyway, peace.